of the Vision Masters Toastmasters meeting. We have a couple of speakers tonight who will definitely inspire us as well as inform us and provide an interesting tip or two about speaking. My name is Kuwaza Imara, and I feel like a juggler as I'm going to be juggling several quote hats during tonight's meeting. The first hat, quote unquote, that I'm going to be juggling is the Sergeant at Arms. I am calling this meeting to order and saying hello to our guests and visitors. Having done that, I will now juggle the second hat and don that one as club president. So let me officially welcome our guests and visitors to tonight's meeting. Maya, welcome. Glad to see you. Cassandra, hello again. Demarie, Shy King, always good to see you. And Matisse, this is our first time seeing you here. Welcome. Rosemary, hello again. Welcome back.
Thank you for having me in the meeting.
So I just want to, again, echo the greeting. This is going to be a fun meeting. And as we like to do in our meetings, it's not only about the speeches that you hear, there's information that's shared, and there will be opportunity for everyone, particularly our guests, to interact and share with us. Now I'll do another bit of juggling here and juggle and put on the hat of Toastmaster. I am your Toastmaster for tonight's meeting. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Thursday night meeting. Our theme is Introduce Yourself. We have a copy of our agenda in the chat. If you just joined us, I recommend you go to the chat and click on that little box there that says November 2 agenda. It's a PDF, and that will give you the full agenda for tonight's meeting. As I don't see our grammarian, I will just take part of that duty and introduce the word of the day. The word of the day is visibility. Visibility is defined as a state of being able to see or being seen. I think this word definitely fits with our overall theme in that when we meet someone and introduce ourselves, we are inviting them to see us as we would like to be seen. Therefore, however we are present, wherever we are, it would be a good idea to make sure that as we introduce ourselves, we are presenting that best foot forward, giving ourselves the highest possible positive visibility. At this point, I will introduce our general evaluator for tonight's meeting. Our general evaluator for tonight's meeting is Dr. Wade Cartwright. Dr. Wade Cartwright.
Can you hear me?
Now we can, yes, sir.
Okay, I'm still setting up my computer here.
Okay.
So let's have our word master grammarian start and give us the word of the day so that we can all get credit for that.
Oh, well, I did get the word of the day, but I can repeat that. The word of the day is visibility. And on that note, I am aware that for some of us, we are actually in front of our computer or phone, and there may be some movement where we step away for a minute. However, we like to see you. We like to see your smiling faces and wherever you are. So I'm asking for greater visibility for our guests and show us those smiles. Make your dentist proud. Okay, let us see who you are. The word of the day is visibility. And Mr. General Evaluator, I'm going to actually give that virtual lectern back to you so you can talk to have us be introduced to the timer.
Okay, I'm having trouble with my visual, so let's have our timer come on and tell us what he's going to do.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator, to the distinguished Toastmasters, executive members, and guests of the Visions Masters Toastmasters Club. I am guest Rhonda Lynch Watts, Toastmaster from Trinidad and Tobago. I would be the timer for this evening. Besides for just monitoring how we are going based on the agenda, I will be timing the speeches, any speeches that are going to be made. We have 2 prepared speeches. Do I give the timing for everyone now? Yes?
Yes.
All right. So we are having a keynote speaker, and her speech would be 13 to 15 minutes long. So I would put my green light on when she achieves 13 minutes, yellow at 14, and red at 15 minutes long. She is to have a question and answer segment, which is a total of 8 minutes. So I would show my green at 6 minutes, yellow at 7 minutes, and and red at 8 minutes long. Our second speaker will be speaking for 5 to 7 minutes, and I will show my green light at 5 minutes, my yellow light at 6 minutes, and my red light at 7 minutes time. My red will stay on until the speech is over. We do have a 30-second grace at the end, at that maximum time, to be able to wrap up and end that speech. We have our evaluation speeches, which are usually 2 to 3 minutes long. So I'll show green at 2 minutes, yellow at 2 minutes, 30 seconds, and red at 3 minutes, leaving it on until it's ended, but we are hoping that all evaluators will end their speech for the maximum 30 seconds after that 2-minute deadline. We have a jokes master and table topics. Both of those speeches are 1 to 2 minutes long, 1 minute green, 1 minute 30 seconds yellow, 2 minutes red, and the 30-second wrap-up does apply. That, I believe, is what would be my function. I have my hand up to improve the visibility of my screen to all speakers. Thank you very much. Mr. General Evaluator, back to you.
Thank you very much, Rhonda. Can I be heard now?
Very clearly.
Okay, so we will have our word master and grammarian tell us what they're going to do in terms of word mastering and grammarianing.
Well, if I was very much dedicated to that role this evening, I might ding you for creating a few words on the spot there, but we're not going to do that. I'm just going to look out for the word of the day, as I'm also going to be juggling some other tasks. But thank you for that, Mr. General Evaluator, and back to you.
Okay, thank you. On with the evaluation part of our meeting, and so I'll give the lectern back to the Toastmaster.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that, Mr. General Evaluator. Well, for those who might be just coming to their very first Toastmaster meeting, as you get an idea of what we do, we give speeches. One part of our meeting is that we have persons who have taken time out to prepare a speech that will be informative and inspirational. These are timed, as you have heard. We also have opportunity for people, particularly guests, to participate in an untimed speech portion. This is our table topics. And it's not a long time. You don't have to worry about giving a 5 to 7 minute speech. 1 to 2 minutes would be just fine. The third part of our meeting is the evaluative part. And this is where the speakers will have an opportunity to have their speeches evaluated for content, for information, for the time given. These are the three main parts of our meeting. Right now, we will be having the first part of our meeting, which is the prepared speeches. Our first speaker is Maiya Katherine. She is an author, speaker, podcast host, wellness coach, and book writing coach. She wrote her first book in 2021, which was a #1 new release on Amazon Kindle. She is also a certified emotional intelligence practitioner and certified life coach. She offers wellness workshops, life coaching, motivational speeches, and well-being seminars to both individual and corporate clients. She now has all of her activities and work housed under her new wellness and well-being platform, Blue Dragonfly Life. Boy, that definitely has an attraction there, blue dragonflies. Anyway, she strongly believes in the power of learning from another's life experiences. And in the summer of 2023, she created a book writing course for aspiring authors who want to share their stories to inspire, motivate, and empower others. That's rich. One of her favorite quotes sums up the excitement and gratitude she feels for just being alive. It is from Helen Keller, and the quote is, "Life is either a daring adventure or nothing." I think there's a urge to push us and nudge us into doing and being all we can. Tonight, Maiya will deliver a keynote address on the topic, creating an introduction, subject of one of the modules of the Toastmasters International's Better Speaker Series, which is a set of presentations offering instruction on proper speaker introduction. The series provides new techniques and tools which can help create impactful and effective introduction for speakers or guests. Creating an introduction addresses the importance of including relevant content in speaker introduction, introducing speakers with confidence, enthusiasm, and great demeanor, and determining the best time frame to deliver the introduction for the audience who are eager to hear the speaker's remarks. Vision Masters, Toastmasters guests. Our guest keynote speaker tonight, Maiya Katherine, creating an introduction. Creating an introduction, Maiya Katherine, who will be evaluated by Cassandra Garabidian.
Thank you, Toastmaster Yumara. How many of you have given a speech at Toastmasters before? How many of you have spoken? How many of you have introduced people speaking at Toastmasters? I have done only one. I have spoken only. And until I was preparing for this speech, I didn't realize how important the introductor was. So I am glad today to be able to learn as I present. And we're gonna go into a very great presentation on how to create your best introduction. I'm gonna use a PowerPoint slide, so I'm gonna share that with you right now. So you're not gonna see my face in a big screen, you're gonna see me a little bit in a little box next to PowerPoint, but the PowerPoint is the most important. So let me go ahead and share it right now. Can everybody see this one? Very good. So let me take my headphones off here. And can everybody hear me? Very good. So creating and delivering your best introduction. Today, we're going to go over tools, techniques, and tips of delivering impactful and effective introductions for speakers at your next event or your next Toastmasters meeting. Well, before I go into what to do, a lot of times we learn the hard way by doing what we're not supposed to do. So let's get that out of the way, and we can maybe have a little laugh in the meantime. How many of you guys remember, I think it was the Oscars or something, where John Travolta was introducing a person and he totally butchered the name. And that was a big deal. I love John Travolta. No offense, nothing against him, but it really created a stir that was spoken of way after the event. Something else that can cause bad introductions is inaccurate speaker title, a rank, or status. I remember somebody telling me that there was a military person giving a speech and the person introduced them with the wrong rank, and it's a huge deal in the military. So that's important as well. The wrong speaker information. Say Maiya Katherine comes here and you start talking about somebody else. But that didn't happen today because Toastmaster Imara delivered an impactful, effective, and correct introduction for me. So I was really happy about that. And lastly, a lengthy introduction where, the introduction takes half of the time the speaker had to speak. So you really don't want to do that. And the consequences of bad introductions can be audience confusion. The audience doesn't really know what's going on. They're confused. Speaker frustration, which you really don't want to, because a lot of times the speaker takes their time and, energy to come there, and then, gets a bad introduction. That's not really good. A bad introduction also changes the vibe of the event, the atmosphere of the event. And a lot of times, the way something starts is the way something finishes. So it's hard to get back on track when you start at the wrong foot. And it can also cause loss of confidence as a speaker in the introductor as well, because, what do we expect when everything starts in the wrong way? So moral of the story, let's not have bad introductions. Why delivering a great introduction is so important. So we kind of went through that by talking about the bad introductions, but I can reiterate that. A good introduction sets the tone for the event. It creates the confidence of the audience for the speaker. It also establishes the speaker authority. When somebody gets introduced properly, it establishes that confidence and that authority that the person has to deliver the remarks that they're supposed to deliver. And it also sets audience expectation for the speech. So now let's go into the essential elements of an effective introduction. You want to make sure that your introduction includes the speaker's name. Very important. And again, we saw that today. I was speaking to Toastmaster Imara and I said, I'm basically going to say whatever he did was a practice and I'm going to do the theory. And it turned out to be the correct thing. So that was a good example. So the speaker's name, and a good idea is to talk to the speaker ahead of time to make sure you say the name correctly. The speaker's bio, which happened today, very important. Usually that's something you get from the speaker in advance. So a good introduction includes some prep work that you can do to make sure that it is effective and impactful. The speech topic, something that's important for Toastmasters, the speech topic, what are they going to talk about, and the speech title. In Toastmasters, we have additional elements such as the assignment, speech assignment, because a lot of times people speak based on their pathways. So you have the assignment, the objectives, and also the delivery time. This is where, it may not be the person introducing saying that, but sometimes you will have to say it's a 5 to 7 minute speech, etc., etc. Again, setting expectations for the audience. Now, in drafting your introduction, I mentioned that there is some prep work. So during that, as you prepare to deliver your introduction, you think about the length that it's going to take. As we said in the beginning, you don't want to take half the time the speaker had to speak just by doing your introduction. Also, the delivery. How are you going to deliver that introduction? Some people use humor, some people, they pace their time, all these things go into the delivery. Outline is good to have, because as great as we are, sometimes without preparation, we may get lost, we may forget, so it's always good to prepare. The key elements of the introduction also are part of your preparation. Are you going to discuss their work? Are you going to discuss the speech? Are you going to discuss their experience, or how they ended up being at your event? That's important as well. Speaker input and clarification is important in that stage. Like I said, you might check with them to make sure you pronounce their name right, you have the bio right, and all other information. And lastly, practice, practice, practice. I remember, was it Allen Iverson? Well, those who know basketball. And at one point he was like, well, it's just practice. It doesn't really matter. It matters. Practice, 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 no matter how good you are. Practice is important. Now, it's very good to apply restraint when introducing a speaker. You may be introducing your idol, somebody that you are so excited about, and you want to go on the stage and just cheer them up. But you have to remember as a speaker to be poised, to be composed, and that you are not the main event as an introductor. It's about the speaker. It's not about you or this guy in the picture. So don't upstage the speaker. Don't reveal the speech details. It's good to give the title of the speech. And like Toastmaster Imara said, Maiya Katherine is going to speak on this and that. That's not going into the speech. That's okay. Don't surprise the speaker by saying something that wasn't in the bio, that they were not ready to talk about, or to have something else in the presentation or another person assisting that they were not aware of. The last thing you want to do is to shock the speaker. Don't overpraise the speaker's skills. Oh my God, Catherine is so awesome and this and that. I mean, I would say thank you, but don't overpraise the speaker. You have to let the audience feel that, they have some type of control, or some type of, not control necessarily, but that their opinions matter, and that, they will get the final say, basically. And do not save the speaker's name for the end of the introduction. You want to do that in the beginning, so that people know who you're talking about. So in an introduction, as I said, the speaker also has some responsibility. A responsibility to provide a bio, responsibility to be available to offer speech-related information, and any special consideration. If the speaker has a disability, or if they need props, or if they need a USB port, projector, the speaker's responsibility is to ask for those things. And if you want to be the person introducing who wants to really, really, cross all the T's and dot all the I's, you may as well ask the speaker, would you need any special consideration when you're giving your speech? That's very important as well. Lectern etiquette. So again, you as the person doing the introduction are not the main event. You are very important, but you're not. So it's important to understand the etiquette, the lectern etiquette. As the person doing the introduction, you are expected to speak to the audience when you're introducing the speaker, not, introducing the speaker and just looking at the speaker, forgetting the audience. At the end of the day, the audience is who everything is happening for. You lead the applause after you introduce the speaker. Sometimes at Toastmasters, we don't do that because we have a certain way of introducing and getting the speeches. But if you happen to take those skills outside of Toastmasters, you may, lead with the applause after you do your introduction. And that reminds me of at the end of each pathway, there's always that thing that says, you understand that this applies, how this applies outside of Toastmasters. That's always at the end of all that. So that's basically, at whatever we're discussing today, at the end, everything applies outside of Toastmasters, which is amazing. So yes, you may have to lead by applause if you're introducing a speaker in another event. Shake hands with the speaker after you give your introduction. Like, I guess COVID, you could, give a little elbow or like a airwave, but make contact, acknowledge the speaker before they start speaking after your introduction. Leave the lectern when the speaker is speaking. You can stay next to the speaker as the speaker is speaking the whole time. Again, it's not about you, it's about the speaker. And wherever you were, show interest in the speech. It's really weird if you introduce a speaker and then you're on your phone the whole time and you expect the audience to enjoy the speech. So show a little bit of interest. Post-speech remarks. Again, this is something we may not do in Toastmasters, but as a speaker, you may have and you may want to give remarks after the speech. And those remarks may include a recap of the speech, main idea, revisiting the points of entertainment. Like, we might say, well, that was funny, that joke about John Travolta. That's funny, something like that. You highlight the benefits and the lessons of the speech and how it helped the audience. And of course, you express words of gratitude for the speaker and for the audience. Finishing and starting anything with gratitude is amazing and it could never go wrong. Thank you for listening to my presentation, and I will be happy to take questions. At this moment, I am going to stop sharing and then I'll come back to you guys for questions and answers.
Thank you, Maiya, for that wonderful, informative, and inspirational speech. I'd like to give everyone about 30 seconds now to gather your thoughts. And if you have a question or comment for Maiya, please raise your hand and we can present that to her. I'm going to, let's see. Cynthia Stott has raised her hand.
Yes, thank you. Wow, this was a great speech. And this is one of the series that I have never heard before. I've heard many of the Better Speaker series, but I've never heard this one. And I didn't realize how much it would be instructing the Toastmaster of the day what to do. And you talked about clapping and shaking hands. We did all that before COVID. We were the place that shook hands and clapped hands. I would end up, after my meeting at the Fed during lunchtime, I would end up with sore hands because I was clapping so much. And clapping is good for your health because it increases your happiness and it's helps you move your energy. So I love the way we clapped. And also we were taught not to leave the lectern blank. So you always stand there until the speaker comes up, you shake their hand, then you leave. And I think it's we get a little bit dicey when it's on Zoom. So we should definitely clap our hands or wave our hands, do the sign language clapping. when another speaker is introduced, even between the general evaluator and the timer, everybody gets a waving or a clapping. And we don't have a Zoom way to shake hands, but this is fabulous, and it was really, oh, thumbs up. Yeah, you could do thumbs up. Yeah. And it was fabulous to have this information. So does this give you a little introduction as a Toastmaster of the day? And you haven't served in that role before, Maiya Katherine. Are you interested in serving in that role now that you've kind of done the tutorial on it?
Absolutely, absolutely. The best way to learn is to practice what you learn. So I'm game, absolutely.
Absolutely. And I think at Leaders Worldwide, we should at least watch this video. That I'm going to recommend that they watch this YouTube, especially for our TEDx event. I think we're going to want to make it a little more formal with the greeting and the greeting the different speakers and doing those points about the introduction. I thought it was really good, a very full introduction. And I think we need to have that when we speak, especially for TEDx. And if we're ever going to speak outside of Toastmasters, for sure, you want it to be full and complete and make sure that, because I get some bio/introduction from speakers and they say, I, and never mention their name. I'm like, this is third person and you need to put your name in there. Or they throw in, Johnny, but there's no last name. So I think it's a really good one to review for professional speakers. So thank you.
Thank you, Cynthia. I'm looking to see if anyone else has their hand up. I had raised my hand. A couple of the points were covered by Cynthia. I think it's important, particularly these days. It seems like a small detail, but it's also one of the first details that someone covers when doing an introduction. Get the name correct, particularly if it's a language that you may not be familiar with, or the spelling doesn't match what you think it should sound like. And just a little tip, everyone, names are very personal. Their rank, their status, etc. That's something acquired, but names are very personal. And it's also one of the first bits of information one imparts to the audience. So if the name is not correct, the speaker is left having to, well, my name is actually, and picking up the ball, so to speak. So that's definitely a very important piece there. I enjoyed the fact that you added the piece of, this is an important bit of information that one can use, not just in Toastmasters. And if I can just take a riff here from Cynthia Stott, the information that was shared here, yes, we use it in Toastmasters, but after speaking before a civic group, if for some reason, oh, we're calling on you to introduce this person at an event, maybe in your church, maybe before the school. This is important skill information you can use anywhere. So thank you very much, Maiya. And we have someone else who had their name up, their hand up. By the way, Cynthia, you can take your hand down, unless you got a. Somebody else had their hand up?
I did, but I can do it during my evaluation.
Oh.
I just want to say, Maiya, you knocked it out the park. You gave great information. I mean, you were poised. You went through the examples of each segment. You were great.
Thank you, Cassandra.
Cynthia, you had your hand up again?
Yes. I wanted to say about the names. That's particularly important when you're a Toastmaster for a contest. I've seen so many contests where they they butcher the name, and it really does not bode well. So it's very important that every Toastmaster for every meeting gets the name right, but also especially for contests, and contest season is coming.
Thank you.
If you're a speaker, you might want to tutor your Toastmaster to make sure they have your name right.
Good suggestion. Which leads into, if you're speaking and or you're the Toastmaster, there should definitely be, if not a little chat text, definitely a little micro conversation about who you are and important facts about. So, for example, my name is. So once again, thank you very much, Maiya. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for having me.
As I said, that we have two very informative, inspirational speeches tonight. Our first speech, hopefully everyone was able to get a tip or two about introducing someone wherever you are, however large the group. And now we have a second speaker. And our second speaker is going to be talking about, gee whiz, just a second here. The importance of mentorship. The importance of mentorship. For some of us in our professional lives, we've had the wonderful opportunity to have someone take an interest in us and kind of hold our hand figuratively and give us information, tell us what the do's and don'ts are, and kind of be a little guide. This could have been a mentor, or maybe it was just someone who thought we would probably be very good at doing whatever it is that we're doing. Cynthia is going to talk to us about mentorship. She will give us some tips, some hints about mentors, what they do. She'll be sharing from her experience as a Toastmaster and being a mentor and having been mentored. Cynthia Stott is our teen on the teen collaboration path. She is doing a level 2 speech in the introduction for Toastmasters mentorship. The speech objective is to have the member clearly define how Toastmasters envisions mentoring. The purpose of this speech is for Cynthia to share some aspect of her previous experience as a protege. She's completing this project and developing an understanding of Toastmasters mentoring. The speech is about a time when she was a protege and learned some interesting facts, tips, hints to become a better mentor herself when the time presented itself. She may discuss any aspect of the protege experience. Cynthia Stott is a distinguished Toastmaster and the Division D director. She is currently serving 18 clubs in Oakland, including Vision Masters. Thank you very much. She will share her experience of being mentored both inside and outside of Toastmasters. Cynthia will be evaluated by club coach Rosemary Sweeney. The title of her speech is The Importance of Mentorship. Cynthia Stott, The Importance of Membership. The Importance of Membership, Cynthia Stott.
Thank you so much, Mr. Toastmaster of the Day. How important is mentorship? Can you raise your hand if you think mentorship is important? Valuable? Many people pay thousands of dollars for mentorship, especially around speeches. So in Toastmasters, we're really lucky because you're supposed to get a mentor if you are in Toastmasters, and that's included in your cost because we have other, your cost of your membership, because we have volunteers that mentor. And here at Vision Masters, we've gotten mentors for all three of our speech crafters. And one is Rosemary Sweeney. She is mentoring Barbara Mariano. And who is mentoring Katrina? It's Zhu. He's Daniel Zhu, and he's from an outside in another club also. And so is Rosemary. She's from Leaders Worldwide. And then we're going to be getting Malcolm is going to mentor Hank, and he lives in the Caribbean, in Aruba, I believe. Great. So we have mentorships there. I have never had a mentor in Toastmasters. Well, I never had a formal mentor, and especially early on, I just was thrown into the pool and sink or swim. I've subsequently had a lot of Toastmasters that served in that mentorship role. I speak a lot with International Director Greg Scott and get mentored on becoming a division director and above, and looking to that kind of training. I get mentorship from, well, I actually have a formal mentor for my division directorship. I got a formal mentor that I can meet with, and that really helps. And the thing about mentors is they're supposed to listen to you. Listen to you. What do you want? What are your goals? And help you get there, but help you to get there. They don't tell you, feed you information, or coach you. And I tend to be a coach, but I'm trying in the mentorship to be much more like a Toastmasters mentor, where you're a guide and you mostly ask questions. Now, I had a mentor outside of Toastmasters that actually, I think he saved my life. Many of you know that I lost my husband suddenly. He died in his sleep. I was 37 years old. He was 38 years old. And my life was turned upside down. And I joined a yoga group, and there I found a mentor. Now, maybe you don't know about me. I had repetitive stress injury, like carpal tunnels, and my hand, all the way up to my arm wouldn't work. I fought the mouse, and the mouse won. And so if I had to open a door and it opened outside, then I would use my hip, my elbow and my hip, and I would open the door that way. If it opened inward, I would just have to wait at work to go to the bathroom. I have to ask somebody to open the door for me so I could get out of my office and into the bathroom. The bathroom opened inward so I could open it. And my physical therapist said to me, every time I try to strength train you, you go into flare up. I suggest that you try strength training with your yoga group because it seems to resonate so well with you. I was like, wow, okay. So I came to Master Park. Master Park was a Korean man, and he didn't speak a whole lot of English. And I didn't learn how to speak Korean, but in working with him so closely, I learned how to speak Master Park. So I knew what he was saying, whether he was talking in English or he was talking in Korean. But he trained me so well that within 3 months of my doctor deeming me to be permanent and stationary with 95% upper body strength loss and 45% disabled, he trained me to do 100 push-ups a day, every day, on my toes, military style. And I was able to hike up a mountain in Korea that was 3,500 feet because I had the strength of my arms. So a mentor, kind of like a coach, can improve things for you. And for me, he saved my life. He absolutely saved my life. So I believe very strongly in mentorship, and I reach out for mentors now to help me go up higher. Someone that has been there before, I'm going to talk to them, pick their brain. In fact, I call Greg Scott probably every other week or so, asking him questions. And now I have been a mentor to many Toastmasters, especially helping them to be more visible. I'm a global visibility influencer with 55,000 followers in 140 plus countries. And I want my mentees and members to do that as well, to be seen and heard. So, is mentorship important? You betcha. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you for that speech, Cynthia. I hope that as we heard that speech, there were persons who appreciated what it takes to become a mentor and either be a mentor, or those who might see the value of having someone as a mentor, not just for speaking in Toastmasters, but to developing that overall skill of communications. For that is the heart of what we do here at Toastmasters, helping people become better communicators. So thank you. I'm going to ask the timer to put 1 minute on the clock, please. And for those who have a question or comment for our second speaker, please send that to her in the chat. Thank you. While that is happening, I'm just going to verbally welcome a couple of our recent attendees, Barbara, Mariano, and Nadia. Welcome.
Good to be here, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. By the way, put into the chat the word of the day, visibility. Ironically, visibility is the word of the day, but it has been so seldom used. Therefore, I figured that before the meeting ends, somebody will feel inspired, drawn, urged to use the word of the day. Thank you for that, timer, Rhonda. Now comes the time in the meeting when we're going to have just a little bit of levity, to lighten it up just a bit. A little joke from our joke master, Mike Pruitt. Our jokes are usually about a minute, no more, as they are a time for jokes, but not for open mic. So, Mike, the virtual lectern is yours. And we should probably have you unmute.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. I read the most interesting article last week about the new Guinness World Record in hot peppers. There's a man named Ed Curry who he breeds hot peppers, and for a while he had a drug and alcohol problem. Then he heard that hot peppers trigger release of endorphins and dopamine. So he started taking hot peppers and was able to kick his bad habits. And his latest pepper has a Scoville heat index of 2.69 million units. Just to put that in perspective, a jalapeno has 5,000 to 20,000 Scoville heat units, and habanero is 100,000 to 200,000. So I've also heard that 5 people have actually eaten one of these. So I thought that was very interesting, and I have a joke to go with this.
You're still on, Mike.
Why couldn't the hot pepper practice archery? Why couldn't the hot pepper practice archery? It didn't habanero.
Thank you for that. And that hot tip as well, Mike. Thank you for that. We will now come to that time in the meeting I particularly enjoy, as it provides all of us with an opportunity to practice speaking extemporaneously, off the cuff, as it were. Table topics. And I will call to the virtual lectern our table topic master for this evening, Hank Cartwright. Hank, I understand you've got some fun items for us to discuss, riff on, talk about. Please.
Yes, well, thank you. Yeah, I've got a few fun table topics, questions that we can talk about. So yeah, I'd like to know: are there any volunteers? Is there anyone who would wants to go first?
We'll pick somebody.
Okay, let's see. So usually choose someone new. So how about Barbara?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I think I'm ready to speak. Hi.
So Barbara, how do you decide what to do when your to-do list has too many tasks and there's not enough time in the day to do them?
Oh boy, that's such a good topic. Thank you. I usually have to go lay down and meditate. Really, I have lists, I imagine we all do, but I can get totally lost in my list. So what I try to do now is have 3 sections of lists: very important, medium important, and I'll do later. That's the latest story I'm doing to try to manage all of these details. It's quite a chore. I think it's easy to get lost in the list making and start to feel overwhelmed by it. So that's my management system is, well, I got to turn off the brain and go take a breathing break in order to regroup and focus and pick one thing, or normally 3 things. But that's what I tend to have 10 things on the list. That's not good. So I don't know if that's a great solution or not, but it's the latest one I came up with. Thank you.
Great, very good. Thank you, Barbara.
Thanks.
I don't know if you can see their hands raised, but D. Marie Shy King has raised her hand.
Okay. Oh, I see it now. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Okay. D. Marie. My next question is: success can be defined in a number of ways. What does being successful mean to you?
How would you like to see exactly what can be accomplished when you combine your lifestyle with the opportunity that Toastmasters offers through Pathways? To me, that is a marriage made in heaven, and it spells success. Because if you can allow yourself to align your goals with those that are expressed through Toastmasters and Pathways, my goodness, you have the opportunity to change the entire trajectory of your life. I'm a living example that that can happen. I had written a book trying to promote it, and all of a sudden, pathways got in my way. Pathways got in the way. I ended up developing an international summit on domestic violence, which is now my platform for life. All you have to do is be open, committed, the visibility that will present itself for you, the opportunity is phenomenal. It's huge. Pathways can be your path to success. I rest my mic.
Oh, very good. Yeah, thank you. Okay. Do we have any more volunteers? I thought I
How about
saw.
a guest like Mitesh?
Okay. Mitesh.
Is Mitesh still with us? I think Mitesh may have left the meeting.
Or Nadia? She's
Ah.
there.
Nadia, are you here with us?
Maybe she's away from her microphone.
Nadia. Yeah, I guess she may be away from her microphone.
Well, somebody will volunteer. Oh, what the heck? I'll volunteer.
Okay. Kuwaza. The next question is, sometimes in life people will don't always agree on something. What is a helpful way to approach resolving a disagreement?
Mr. Table Topics Master. I'm smiling in that the other day I was having a conversation with my daughter, and she had started a new job and they were in contract discussions. I shared with her that some people have the idea that, in contract discussions, there's one side and another side, and you kind of wrangle it out. I said, it's not quite like that. One of the best ways is that try to see what it is that they are presenting, you're presenting, try to find what is the common yes that you each have that you can share offers the maximum benefit for everybody, thus creating a broader middle ground to engage rather than separating into two disparate camps and fighting each other. So to answer the question, disagreements happen. I think it's important, whether it's a small or large one, what is it that is the common piece between us that we can have an agreement around rather than hunkering down in disagreement. I think that's a key piece there. Back to you.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Thank you, Kwaza. Okay.
Oh, by the way, Mr. Toastmaster, I think we're just about ready to bounce this back over to the Toastmasters so we can start our evaluation part of the meeting.
Okay, then that was a fun table topic session. So back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you very much. And by the way, Hank, as the first time doing table topics, very good. Good questions. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
At this point, as I kind of hinted, that we will come to the evaluation part of our meeting. To that end, I will invite our general evaluator to the virtual lectern, and that is Dr. Wade Cartwright. Dr. Wade Cartwright. Well, while Dr. Cartwright gets the audio piece of his equipment together there, I'll step in and call to our virtual lectern our first evaluator. We had an evaluator for our first speech this evening, Maiya Katherine, who gave us that wonderful speech. Oh, there's Dr. Cartwright. Weird. I was just going to call forth the first evaluator, Dr. Cartwright. That's okay with you? We'll proceed along that and then bounce back to you. Our first evaluator is Cassandra Garabedian, who will be evaluating Maiya Katherine. Cassandra.
Yes, thank you for that. Maiya Katherine, you gave us that wonderful, wonderful speech from the Better Speakers series. You started out with that beautiful presentation using the PowerPoint. Great command of the PowerPoint. I loved it. I believe that you were the first to use that PowerPoint presentation successfully. And so I wanted to tell you that kudos to you. You placed it up there for us to see, but you also showed your face. So command that PowerPoint presentation. Also, you were prepared. You didn't read the PowerPoint because we could see that ourselves, but you placed it up there and you talked about what was on the PowerPoint. You gave us examples of those points. You had the heading there, you had points of what the PowerPoint was about, but you also gave us examples of those points. You also brought in examples, real life examples, like John Travolta, which some of us actually saw that particular award show, which John Travolta made that error in using the name, calling off that woman's name. And so we all remembered that. That was engaging. You brought us into it. And it was actually use some humor. And you also brought in your personality and that wonderful smile of yours. So it was all engaging. And with those examples, you had questions for us all through. You opened up your presentation with questions. So once again, all through your presentation, you were asking questions. You kept us involved. And I love that about you. So that was very nice. And you had a nice pace through the presentation. You didn't hurry through it. You had vocal variety. You were very effective. You also told us stories throughout the presentation. You gave us situations. You told us through your examples what would happen. I'm not going to belabor about the names because I believe that Cynthia went through that. But you gave us so many examples. You talked about being prepared. You talked about, you talked about so many things. You gave about effective introductions. You spoke about just being in real life situations. If you're going to an interview, about extending the hand. You spoke about what Cynthia said, about not leaving the podium until the speaker comes. So you gave us all these tidbits of what to do. Very effective information. That introduction is so important. It's just like first impressions. You only have one chance to do it, to make that first impression. The same thing applies here in that introduction. And so you're very effective in giving those tips. And so what I say to you, that was an excellent, excellent speech. And as far as stretch goals for this presentation, and this would be real picky, I would say do more of the gestures as far as the handshakes. Give us more gestures in going through how these gestures would actually be performed. And that's being really nitpicky. So with this particular speech, you were wonderful. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your efforts in letting us know how an introduction is actually supposed to be performed. You were wonderful. Thank you. You too.
Thank you, Cassandra.
Yeah.
Thank you. We also had an evaluator for our second speaker. And the evaluator for our second speaker is Rosemary Sweeney, who will be evaluating Cynthia Stott. Rosemary.
Thank you. Our timer, can I? When we were speaking,
I didn't see this time either.
I think our timer may be having some technical difficulties.
Yeah. Okay,
So,
then let me
Rosemary,
continue.
I'll try to give you the cue.
Oh, yes, thank you. Okay. Thank you, Cynthia. I now know I could choose my mentor if I'm not given a mentor, because it has been some time since I do not have a mentor. Your introduction was superb in that I heard a question, and before I could say Jack Robinson, you then came with another question, having me thinking. I heard you inform the audience of names of mentors, and you had that quizzical look on your face when you were thinking of somebody else's name. I will now speak of what I saw, what I heard, and how I felt. I saw great hand gestures. Unlike some people who point, I saw the palm of your hand, which means all-encompassing. I saw great facial expression. As I said, when you were thinking of somebody's name, there was that quizzical look on your face. When you spoke of being paralyzed, you showed your hand. And the manner you opened the door, that was very, very intriguing. I was intrigued by your facial expression. You see, trying to recall the mentors, and your vocal variety was really, really priceless. When you spoke, more so when I heard of your Korean mentor, and you were speaking of your 100 push-ups, your voice showed how excited and relieved you. Finally, I could feel some excitement. At that time, when you went up that hiking trail, and I being a hiker, I could hear that in your voice. You were very excited. At some point, you were slow, more so when you spoke of your husband passing on, so your voice showed what you were speaking about. It was very touching. I heard the tone of your voice, and when you did not have a mentor, you went on. That made me know that you're a no-nonsense person. You will take the bull by the horn. All in all, I learned that you're a go-getter. I saw great hand gestures and facial variety, and I heard your amazing vocal variety. What I would have loved is at the introduction, you come straight to the point to tell me about your time as a protege and not give me other people who I don't know if you know their relationship with their mentors, because that did not come out. Just tell me about your protege, your time as a protege. In my opinion, however, you met your objective, and I look forward to your next speech. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster of the day, who disappeared.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Well, it seems that I have a new part to my juggling act, and that is the hat of general evaluator.
Yes.
Wee! Well, Toastmasters, Vision Masters, and guests. Sometimes we have the opportunity to do something a little extra. In this day and age of technology, we sometimes have, I think the word used to be glitch. I don't know if they still use that, but things, they happen. Our general evaluator and our timer both are having some difficulties in terms of being in connection with us here at the meeting. I will try to fill in. Our timer.
I am here. I'm just having
okay,
difficulty
great.
with my camera.
Okay, great. I'm going to call on our timer to give us the times for the speeches, the table topics, and our evaluations. Our timer, Rhonda, go right ahead.
Thank you, Master Grandmaster. I'll have to say that way since you're doing so many rules. Forgive me, persons. I have actually fallen off, and this is my fourth device I've been on, trying to keep to keep up with you all. And unfortunately, it meant that I missed out on the timing for Toastmaster Maro. And Toastmaster Cassandra. I just know a general idea of how long she went to. So I apologize for that. Having said that, I would say that our first speaker, which was a keynote speaker, Toastmaster Maiya Katherine, she spoke for 14 minutes and 7 seconds. She had a 13 to 15 minute speech, so she was within time. Toastmaster, the timing for the questionnaires was supposed to be between 6 to 8. We were 7 minutes, 5 seconds. Distinguished Toastmaster Cynthia Stott, in her 5 to 7 minute speech, spoke for 6 minutes and 48 seconds. Our joke master and the two table topics persons that I were able to speak, they all were within their 1 to 2 minute segment. I believe Toastmaster Imar was within that time as well. For the evaluation speeches, Toastmaster Cassandra did go over time. She was at least 4 minutes. And Toastmaster Rosemary Sweeney spoke for 3 minutes, 11 seconds. It is now, I believe, 7:50. We should be actually coming to a close with the evaluation segment quite soon, and we should be able to maintain the time that we anticipate. Thank you, and apologies for my lack of visibility at this time. I am still trying to get on with another device. Thank you.
Well, thank you for definitely carrying through with the task. Our timekeeper, Rhonda Lynch Watts, we definitely appreciate that. I had as one of my hats for the day, the grammarian, and unfortunately in that role, I only wanted to keep up with the word of the day. Unfortunately, I did not really hear the word of the day, even with prompting. But I will say that we did have a lot of visibility with folks who joined in on our meeting. And the visibility was not just in terms of video, but definitely participation. That was very much appreciated. I am kind of filling in here for our general evaluator, Dr. Wade Cartwright. So thank you, timekeeper Rhonda. And I also want to thank everyone who did fill in. Thank you for our evaluators, both Cassandra and Rosemary. And I also want to thank our keynote speakers. We did have wonderful information, good tips, good hints. Maiya, that information about this being one of the first times that this pathway has been presented, wow, I'm kind of surprised, because it would seem that these are points that Toastmasters, whether you're a seasoned Toastmaster, distinguished Toastmaster, or somebody actually just joining a club and starting on pathway, can use this information. Once again, I'll say that this is valuable information that one can use, not just in Toastmasters, but wherever one is. And by the way, you never know when you might be called upon to, can you just say a few words of introduction? Those words that some of us kind of dread to hear, like, oh, can you just say a word of introduction for a blank blank? So thank you very much for that speech. And Cynthia, thank you for that inspirational speech in terms of mentorship. For some of us, we've been fortunate to have mentors. For some of us, we have yet to have someone who can be a mentor, but having that person present to provide a little guidance, little tips, even when we make mistakes, mentors can be helpful in pointing out not just that something happened that was not what we wanted to see, the end results, but also getting us to see why that happened so that we don't make that same mistake again. So I want to thank our speakers, our evaluators, everyone for tonight's meeting. We had several people who joined us for tonight's meeting as guests, and I just want to get your opinion, idea about the meeting, what you thought about it. I'm getting a little technical issue here because I'm not being able to see. Well, let me start with our speaker, Maiya. You joined us for tonight's meeting, and even though you were a speaker, you were also a guest. Would you like to share about your experience in joining us for the meeting?
Yes, thank you so much. I loved being here. I am grateful for being here. I love the joke master of the day. That's not something that I've heard or experienced before. So I loved it, and the jokes were so funny. I'm grateful for the opportunity and for the visibility that I'm getting, and that all of you are getting. I'm getting to know people that I've never met before. So I thought the meeting was well ran. You were excellent. Everybody was excellent, and great competence there and great excellence. And again, I am very thankful for being here, and I would love to come back anytime. And I thank you all for the opportunity to speak as your keynote speaker tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Cassandra, would you like to share a word or two?
Can you hear me? I don't know if I have this on. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Wonderful meeting. lots of tips and tricks on how to get up and say a speech. Everyone that participated, all the guests that were here, I want to thank you. You are why we are here. This is why we do it. So I want to say thank you. We are grateful that you're here, for your presence. Please come back. I love being here. I love what we do here, that we gather here and create speeches and learn from each other. So this is the place to come if you want to practice your speeches and share information. So I appreciate you. I appreciate you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Rosemary.
I'm right there.
Hi there.
Okay. The reason I keep my camera off is because in the Caribbean, we have a problem with our internet. And if my camera is on, my bandwidth will be low and I will be dropping off. And I hate dropping off because when you come back on, it's like you miss a whole part of the meeting. But I love being here. I enjoy the meeting. As everyone said, I enjoy the joke master, the joke master, especially when the question was asked. I am so happy to see Barbara this evening, my long lost partner. So I know we are going to get back right on. Thank you.
Thank you. Dee Marie.
I thoroughly enjoyed the meeting tonight, and all the information was absolutely wonderful. But as the VPP of Leaders Worldwide and my passion for pathways, I thank you for that table topics question. I had a chance to put a mini speech in and give a plug to the fact that we all need to be doing pathways so that we can move up the ladder. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you. Thank you. And Rhonda, you were also busy tonight, but I just want to get a little feedback from you. I'm seeing you twice.
Yes, you will be seeing me twice and you'll be hearing me from one, if I'm correct. Are you hearing me?
Yes.
Great. So you're hearing me from one device and see me at another. It was challenging. I literally had to come on about 5 different times, and I'm in the Caribbean as well. So Rosemary made my excuses for me, but I did enjoy the meeting. Thank you, Maiya and Cynthia, for your prepared speeches, because it allowed me to recap, particularly on the introductions, and to put things in context and perspective. And I do appreciate that. And Cynthia, in terms of mentorship and your own personal story, I was a little bit like you, got thrown in the deep end at the beginning. So I think I had a mentor probably for about 2 or 3 speeches and then never heard of them again, basically. So I'm looking for another mentor as you speak, because as you do more roles and you in the progress, you actually tend to need more mentors, interestingly enough, even as you're developing. So I am looking for that. I enjoy coming to your meetings usually. I always like hearing Michael. I wait for it, I think. I'm trying my best not to say that I come just for him, because his jokes are really good. You know, every so often I go and I tell my children, and sometimes they give me one of those looks like, okay, that's an old person joke. But otherwise, most often, yeah. So I have fun. So thank you very much. Very good questions, Henry, Hank, Cartwright. And the evaluations I appreciated them as well. We did say visibility, I think at least 6 times when I counted it. Yeah, so we did try. So thank you all very much for having me and for throwing me on the deep end and getting my opportunity. Michael, you did ask about the timer. The timer, there's an app for that. If you have the advanced account with Zoom, it's actually linked to Zoom. So you just, if you keep I learned that this year, that you Zoom, what's the word for it? They do the revision so quickly, you have to keep up with it. And when you do the revisions, and literally within days, sometimes you may have 2 revisions. So you need to keep checking
Oh.
on it.
Oh,
And as
the
you get
update,
revisions,
the updates on it, they have it
the
on the new updates?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay,
So
thank you.
Okay.
when you do that, you find a lot of things are added on that you may not have had access to
Oh,
previously,
okay.
including things like
The-
doing the notes,
The
getting the
new
minutes
version,
of the
the new
meeting,
version has it.
summaries. Yeah, that's
Okay.
correct.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Wow, that's
Great.
great information. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, I would like to thank everyone for attending tonight's meeting. Again, our keynote speakers for sharing that information, insights, for those who participated in the meeting and the table topics. I'd like to thank the members of our team, our timer, general evaluator, our joke master, our technical person behind the scenes, Mike, as well, for making this meeting possible. It's not just 1 or 2 people, but it's a team effort. And even those who visited, you shared with your presence and your comments. So thank you very much for making this meeting successful. By the way, DeMarie said something that I just want to echo here. The pathway, that program that Toastmasters has, is a good way to, yes, advance, learn how to give better speeches, but there's also information and tips in there to help just be a better presenter. Again, many of us are here to be better communicators. We have something to say to the world, something to share. And being a part of Toastmasters gives us tools that we can use to enhance the delivery of what our speech, our message is about. So please, if you're not a member of Toastmasters, consider joining, because this is a connection, not just within the club, but Toastmasters International, that can definitely enhance your presence and visibility. This club is located in Oakland, California, and yet we have people from as far away as India, the Caribbean, Southeast Asia. So there is an opportunity to connect with folks from all over. That's all that I have to say.
Well, I think we have one more. You want to speak about the pathways that's leaving, the sunsetting?
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Oh, actually, I don't have that in front of me, so I can't.
Oh, I don't know. Well, there's I believe there's 5. I believe there's 5 paths that's going to be
6 pathways that are going to be leaving. Yes.
Yes. So you can look them up in our D57 website, and they'll list them, which ones they are. You can purchase them for $20 and have them to go through them. They're really nice to have. So if you want to go through those pathways to keep and go through them, if you'd like, you can purchase for $20, because after they leave by the end of the year, you won't be able to get them. So you might want to check those out.
And I think that's effective coaching, innovative planning, leadership development.
Ooh.
And 2 others. I forget.
They're really good. Yeah,
they're really good leadership ones. So if you're, and team collaboration is leaving too.
That one is a good one to take a look at. Yes.
They're getting rid of all the leadership ones. I don't get it.
Yeah, so you want to take a look at those. I purchased one, so the $20, and you can keep those and have those.
And a lot of them have the required projects that you don't see anywhere else in pathways, not as electives or anything. So it's really good to purchase them. And those projects really stretch you to think about your leadership and your speaking in a different way.
Thank you for that information, Cassandra, and we'll definitely be announcing that, since they do go away at the end of the year. But for $20, that's quite an investment.
It's coming near. I mean, we only have, this is November, December, so
December 31st they go away.
Yeah.
And I was just saying, they're good. It's a good investment, $20, particularly if you are doing something entrepreneur-wise and developing a particular presence, visibility, product, a couple of those pathways would be most ideal. Once you purchase
Any
them,
type of
you can use
leadership.
them at any time.
Any leadership, if you're planning on going, any leadership, that's a must. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. I want to wish everyone a good week, a good weekend. Be well.